Hello and welcome to my channel. This is going to be the Reading Rush and Tropeathon wrap-up. So, Tropeathon and the Reading Rush are two readathons that were going on at the same exact time last week, which was July the 22nd, I want to say, until the 28th. It runs completely different than my weekly wrap-ups, so I tried to get one more book finished for both of these challenges, and it didn't happen. But I figured you guys told me on Sunday, well, actually it was like, yeah, it was like Monday morning, because we had our end of the year summer party for swim team, and that bad boy lasted until like 9:30 at night. Oh my God. Sweet Lord. But so I had to wait and then upload once I got home and stuff like that. So it has been a busy weekend, busy week last week. I did read 14 books last week, so if you want to go check out that video, make sure that you check out last week's weekly video. I started out this week doing pretty good as well, but you guys aren't here for that. You're here to hear what I read for Tropeathon and the Reading Rush. So that whole TBR thing that I put out at the beginning of the month in July was thrown out the window, like pretty much completely. I don't think I read a single book that I had listed over there that I read for these two readathons, because one, I'm a mood reader. You guys know that if you watch my channel at all, which is why I don't do a whole bunch of TBRs, and I definitely don't do hauls or anything like that, because hauls are just pretty much the books that I get from book signings. And for TBRs, I'm a mood reader, so I could possibly get to it, but then I could possibly not get to it, or I could want to read it before, and it just doesn't work out. Doesn't work out. But for the Reading Rush, here are the books and the categories that I completed during that. I was super low-key doing that because, oh my gosh, my subscription box on YouTube has been flooded with y'all that like to do vlogs, that did daily vlogs, did every 2 or 3 day vlogs. So there was really no point in putting out videos last week. I put out my regularly Tuesday and Thursday video, but do you think anybody saw them? No, probably not, because they were all into the vlogs. Not to mention, doing a vlog every single day is a time consuming, and I just don't know how you guys do it. Doing daily vlogs, like getting up, filming, editing, posting that same day, y'all are on point. And then having full-time jobs, I give it to you. Y'all do your thing, you youngsters. And even with me not having a job, there was just no way. I wouldn't be entertaining enough, for one, to do a vlog every single day during a readathon, because it's take my son to camp, because it's summertime right now. And then I come home and I either read or I watch television. So, and this video has turned completely into something different. So one of the challenges was to read a book with purple on the cover, and for that challenge I ended up reading Royal Gentleman by Christy Pastore. This book is so much fun. It's about royalty. We had been asking Christy to give us a royalty book because if you're part of her Facebook group, you know that she is all about the royals. We have been following Meghan and Harry for like forever, and of course William and Catherine, Kate, I'm sorry, not Catherine, Kate, for a long time, and we have lots of discussions and things like that. So we were like, hey, can we get a, you know, royalty book? And Christy came through giving us this fun, very different royalty book. It has nothing to do with the English family that is in, that is royal right now. It's completely different. It's about two kids that were, one's a royal and one is not, but they grew, one character grew up around the royal family, and then they spend some time apart. The royal family gets ousted, and so when they come back into power, the royal character asked the non-royal character to come and help and document their rise, and they figure out that they had feelings for each other for a long time, and you know, it was just fun, it was sweet, it was sexy, it was everything. and I applaud it. I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. The next challenge was to read a book in the same place, and for that one I read Tri-Tip by Vanessa Vale. This is one of the books in the Grade A Beefcakes series that Vanessa has. It is a erotic menage about three guys, one girl, and they want to live this polyamorous life. It's a short story. It was only about 3 hours as an audiobook, and it was really quick. I just sat in my chair while my boys were watching television and listened to it. I got it done really, really quickly. The next challenge was to read a book that I meant to read last year, and I did not get this one completed. I had chosen a couple books, but I didn't complete this challenge. I didn't complete the challenge of read a author's debut novel. I just did not have time, even though I read 14 books. I don't think any of those were the author's first book. For read a book with a non-human main character, didn't read that, didn't do that challenge as well. Did pick one, but didn't get around to it. So you guys might be hearing about a book like that later this week or maybe next week. I don't know. I kind of really want to read this book that I had chosen. And then read a book with more than 5 words in the title, and I read Rivals! Sorry, I got to do that every single time I say that. Frenemies Who Changed the World by Scott McCormick. And it was so much fun. This was a middle grade kid-lit Audible book that I got from Audibles, because I'm an Audible subscriber member and everything like that. And this was their one that they give away for free. I really enjoyed it. It was short. It was quick. It goes over 4 different major, I guess, conflicts that have happened in the world, and they were really fun, and they had sound effects, and I would listen to it again so that my son could get a history lesson. I mean, it goes from dinosaurs to Mary Queen of Scots to the Nike Puma, not Nike, Adidas Puma conflict, and then I think there's one more. I think there's like a president's one or something like that. But they were so much fun. I really, really enjoyed it. The last challenge was to read and watch a book to movie adaptation, and I actually, when I went through all my books, I didn't actually do this one, but at the same time, last week I read Younger by Pamela Redmond Strand, and I am going to go ahead and put that one in here. I have not started watching the television adaptation for this show or for this book yet, but once I finished this book, everyone was like, oh my goodness, I did not know this was a book, and you need to watch the television show. It's really cute. It's a really interesting book. It's about a over 40 woman that gets divorced, and she has a family. Now she's trying to get back in the workplace, and it's about dealing with having a young face but being older. I relate to that in like a major way. Then the bonus was to read 7 books, and like I said earlier in this video, I read 14 books last week, so I can pretty much check that one off. For Tropeathon! Tropeathon was a readathon that was being held by 2 bloggers over on Twitter. It didn't get as much I guess, publicity as the Reading Rush. It's not as big, but it had some fun challenges, and I tried to get through them. So the first challenge was to read a book about a chosen one, and for that one, I did start it. I was reading, or I am reading, The Affiliate by K.A. Lindy, and in this story, you have a prophecy that was given to the 2 princes of things to happen, and then fast forward, you find out that their societal system, I guess you could say, is to allow women to be sort of the advisors to the king, to the royalty, to the parties and stuff like that, and you're chosen when you become of age. I want to say of age is like 17 or 18. It may be 16. I'm not exactly sure. But regardless, you start as an affiliate, and once you're chosen into service, and then you have to like do all these like trials and things like that. And I'm finding it very interesting. I'm still trying to figure out if I should have the main male character as the king or as the prince, or any other people. There's a lot of people. It's fantasy, so I'm not a huge fantasy person, but I'm a huge K.A. Lindy fan, and I like her writing. I like that this is outside of her normal angsty new adult realm that I am used to reading from her, and I'm digging it. I'm digging it. This series has 5 books in it, so I am looking forward to keeping it moving. It's still holding my interest. That's one of the good things. The next challenge was to read a book that had blue on the cover, and for this I read The Secret Baby by Letty Harper, and I really enjoyed this book. This book, even though the title says The Secret Baby, you pretty much know once the person gets pregnant, and actually there are 2 people that are pregnant in this story, and it's just fun. It's fun. It's one of those things that these 2 people meet. They don't exchange names, but they do have a hookup. And it is the outcome of what happens when you live in your fantasy for one night and you end up one person ends up getting pregnant. And it's all about, trying to figure out who the dad is, even though you know who the dad is. And it was just so much fun. I really enjoyed it. It's one of my trope drugs that I love, and I was here for it. The next was to read a book from Other Worlds, and I actually was not able to finish this one, or actually wasn't able to get to this challenge, so we're just not going to talk about it. I had books, but I wasn't feeling that right now. The next one was to give some cover love, so I'm going to give the cover love to Rose! Frenemies Who Changed the World by Scott McCormick. And the reason I got this, for one, was because it was free through Audibles as an Audible original, and for 2, I was like all about these cartoon characters on here, and I was like, I want to know more about this. I want this book, so I got it. Royal Gentleman by Christy Pastore, because royalty is all about being purple, and I love a man in a suit. I'm a suit girl. I mean, I love my rugged men too, but I'm definitely into that tie and suit and, things like that. And then this last one is Watch Me by Kerr Duquet and Kay Webster. This is part of their kinky series, and I am here for it. For some reason, I like reading books about strippers or people in that sort of nefarious setting or job description. I like reading books about people on poles. I don't know. It's me. The next book that I read for challenge that I completed was Enemies to Lovers, and that goes to Watch Me by Kerr Duquet and Kay Webster. It is also not just enemies to lovers, it's more lost love and not knowing who is in the box and who is behind the window type thing. So they had a bit of a falling out, so I don't know that I would say that it was enemies. They weren't really like mad at each other, but at the same time they weren't happy with each other, and it's a lost love story, so yeah. It's also like taboo, so oh yeah. The next challenge was Forbidden Romance, and for that I read Voyeur by Fiona Cole, and I was so here for this. I picked it because of the title. I for some reason like to read about voyeurism. I'm here for that kink, and this book gives you that and so much more. Oh my goodness, it's like an erotic contemporary. I believe that's what I categorize it in. And as well is because even though it has all these like different aspects of eroticism, it also has this like contemporary feel of the characters had some shit to go through, and whew, having them work through it was crazy. It's also a student-teacher age gap story, and I was here for that as well. For recommended to you, I read Rivals! Frenemies Who Changed the World by Scott McCormick. You can make a drinking game out of that, huh? How many times I scream Rivals throughout this story or throughout this video. And it was recommended to me by Audible, so Audible Originals said, hey, you need to check this one out, so it was recommended to me. And then finally is a slow burn story, and I am placing Cruel Legacy by K.A. Lindy in this one because I finished it, and this story definitely went over the 3 books of, 3.5 books for this series, and this conclusion was definitely a slow burn because throughout the other 2 books you have that push and pull back and forth between our 2 main characters. Are they good together? Aren't they together? No, they're, why would they be together? They're with someone else, and blah blah blah. It was very slow burn, and even in this one they weren't really together for quite a bit of this book until the conclusion. I mean, it's a romance, so of course I'm going to have my happily ever after, and it took 3.5 books for them to get there. Yes, very much so. So that is the Reading Rush and Tropeathon wrap up. Did you participate in either one of those readathons? Let me know down in the comment section. What did you think about the books that I just talked about? If you want to know more about any of those books, make sure you check out my weekly wrap-ups. I will link them down in the description box for week 29 and week 30. Although I think I put most of them in week 30's weekly wrap-up, so just make sure you go check that out. Let me know if you liked any of those books, if you read any of those books. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.